here's the old tyre that came off. Dennis Neal, who's in the pits, would be in a very good position to assess the situation there. It's a Pirelli tyre. Riding up into third position now, or rather losing third position, is bike 14. Rob Phillips and Mick Cole to this man here, Neville Hiscock, who's starting to storm through the field, has just picked up Hiscock, or rather picked up Phyllis Cole and dealt with them severely. You can see that they're dropping right back, and now he's out chasing. 20.63 seconds the gap between him and Alan Blanco, Jeff French in second position. So Neville Hiscock now starting his charge. The Willing Sharp bike now back in the race, staying with them. Of course, after its drop earlier in the event, it's way down.
Neville Hiscock sharing something with the 1980 World Car Racing champion Alan Jones, both of them being sponsored by Akai.
Third in the 750cc class is this bike, bike 24, being ridden by Lee Roebuck and Paul Feeney. Lee Roebuck on the bike at the moment. Roebuck has been a long-time competitor in the Castrol 6-hour. He was first in the 250cc class in 1975 and backed up the year later to win the 350cc class in 1976. He's also a former Australian Grand Prix champion. Paul Feeney, who's sharing the bike with him, was the find of superbike racing 2 years ago, stepping onto the big, ugly Kawasaki that used to be ridden by Graham Crosby. And he did very well with the bike indeed. Both of them very experienced riders, both of them quite aggressive and doing well to keep their Kawasaki in third position in the 750cc class. The Kawasaki itself, the most powerful machine in the 750cc class, perhaps 5 miles an hour faster than any of the other bikes up the main straight, but hindered a little bit by having its foot pegs slung very low on the bike, therefore reducing ground clearance and slowing the machine through corners, although as you watch Lee Roebuck there, he's really pushing the bike along.
Into the pits comes the race leader, bike number 3, Andrew Johnson, Greg Pretty. His lead would have been whittled to 1.96 seconds by the hard charge of bike number 7. That's the Honda of French and Blanco. Rear wheel, please. AJ, Andrew Johnson, destined for possibly for an NS 500 Honda Grand Prix bike, one of the fastest bikes in the world for next season's Grand Prix racing. 15 seconds now in the pits. A horrifying moment when things really go wrong as you slot the new wheel in. Not quite near the tyre, you can see it's just been bedded, got the smoothness off it. It's 29. Exhaust up above the axle level on the Honda, so they don't have to drop the suspension units as they do on the Suzuki. Dunlop going in, Dunlop fitted to 13 of the bikes, Pirelli to double that number, 26, Metzeler to 1:55 seconds. Zipper undone under his shoulder and away with 66.9 seconds, 67 seconds, a very long pit stop 20 seconds plus worse than any other, and rain again starting to fall, and they are in 6th place outright. Slipped from the lead to 6th in that stop. 66.9 seconds was the time for that change, and that time dropped them 6 places, which gives you an idea of how closely the bikes still are bunched after 221 laps, 3 hours, 39 minutes of racing.
Talking to Greg, you got a slight lead there, Greg. You came in, done a usual pit stop, and you've changed your wheel as well. What was the problem?
I was having a lot of trouble through traffic, and with the yellow flags, I wasn't able to keep my times as consistent as I like, but also with the tyre sliding now, it's very difficult, so we did need a new tyre.
Right, I noticed it still had quite a bit of tread left, however, it was just starting to chatter a bit, was it, in the rear end?
Yeah, I think the damp conditions have made it a bit greasy, and well, it's just damn hard to hang over the bike over the bumps.
Most of the other leading teams have changed the wheel, and they've gone out the second ride. It's gone substantially faster, so I think that seems to be the right move at this stage.
Well, I hope we've made the right move, yeah. It's a shame to have to waste that time, but you know, if it means being safer while we're out there, well, then we have to do it.
Thanks, Greg.
And that's the new race leader, bike 7, Jeff French on it, the Team Matic Honda. And just riding with him is bike 10, Glenn Taylor, who is 1 lap down. Right there you can see him behind, is 1 lap down in 7th position. And anxious, of course, to get himself back on the same lap, so we could well see Glenn Taylor starting to mix it with Jeff French. French in his first ever Castrol 6 hour, the son of John French, winner of the James Hardy 1000 at Bathurst last year. And a man who's keen to take out the double to win the Castrol 6 hour, just as his famous dad has won the premier car race, production car race in Australia. And what an incredible coup it would be if he did it on his first on his first try here at Amaru Park.
And behind that race leader, we've had a change for 2nd and 3rd, where Hiscock Gray on their Suzuki number 1 has been overtaken by the Pace Buyers Honda number 5. So the race still really hot. This 13th Castrol 6 hour, and unbelievably the 3rd in a row that's been bedeviled by rain, wet track, treacherous conditions.
This bike, bike 7, changed its tyre very early in the race. And in doing so, set co-rider Alan Blanco up for a charging run through the wet conditions, which has certainly not done the team's chances any harm at all. I spoke to Frank Matic, the team manager, a small while ago, and he said the only reason that the bike was pulled in early for the tyre change was to allow the other machine, the Willing Sharp bike, the other bike in their team, to have an unhindered tyre change itself later in the event, so that the 2 tyre changes didn't happen on top of each other. And the rain now is starting to come down again, and looks like it's going to settle in for a little while, as it did at just before the 2 hour mark.
Will be a few minutes before the track's wet and before adhesion really deteriorates. But at the rate it's coming down, that will happen.
Oh, and there's the BMW, bike 12, the Greg Johnson, Chris Oldfield BMW. And it's down and on fire from its fuel tank as the Marshal struggles with the fuel, with the fire extinguisher.
This is going to be somewhat of a high quality and expensive Max Sennett comedy, I think.
You shouldn't do this, you really shouldn't. I mean, this is serious, fellas.
It'd just be silly to start.
Oh, and there it goes. Now we've got a problem.
And we're
seriously.
witnessing the destruction of a motorbike.
And that's a beautiful
because
motorcycle too.
the